Welcome everybody. I think we're live. Hey Sabrina, how you doing? Cheers today. Cheers everybody.
Cheers,
We
Elle.
just thought we'd come with our wine glasses because, well, I was hoping Sabrina you'd have wine in there.
I know. But it's bedtime for me, Elle. You know, I always get to see you at night, so
that's why I brought the wine glass.
What is today? Today is Wednesday, right? So if you had caught me on a Friday night, there would be champagne in this glass.
Oh wow.
But no, tonight there's water.
It's not Wednesday, darling. It's Thursday.
Oh, it's Thursday for you, darling. It's Wednesday for me. You thought I wouldn't get that.
I actually had my beautiful hubby made me my smoothie, and I said, we're going to put it in a wine glass so that we can.
That's lovely. That's
so
just
we can
wonderful.
just be funny. So we can just be funny.
Yes.
So great being with you today. I've missed you. I haven't seen you for a whole week. We've hardly spoken because you're back on the tool, doing all those beautiful brows and making women feel amazing. So it's beautiful to be with you. I want to talk about something, you know, as the beauty elders, which we've now given ourselves that title. And I have to say also, you had a birthday, beauty elder. You did, right? So
I did, not far after you. I told you once or twice ago that I was very hot on your heels, and indeed I was. So I turned 53. You are still my elder, but only by a couple of years. Not enough to really count.
That's so funny. I am. And I'm going to tell you something about that. I'm your 3-year elder. So you have to listen to
my 3-year elder. I do. I do.
Oh, that's so funny.
I do. Except for it feels like, and this is just from a soul perspective, it feels like you're like 1,000 years older than me.
Oh, no, you're right beside me, girl. You're right beside me. It's so beautiful. Let me just share with you something really funny. And I know that women that watching this later or now are really going to be able to just kind of almost like relate to this in a way. Don't you just love it when you share with someone how old you are, like a younger person? And like I find if I say to someone, oh yeah, well, you know, I'm 56, if I'm in a boutique or something, and they'll say, oh, they just look at you, oh, but you look so good for your age. And I think, what, is that a compliment or is that actually?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It could be maybe sideways.
I know, it's hilarious. It's like, you know what, I feel so good about being 56. Yeah. And I often wonder, I don't know about you and the ladies that are watching, but do you ever think to yourself that you want to be 20 again?
Definitely not. I mean, perhaps from a vessel perspective, because things wouldn't hurt sometimes like they do. But not from a mental perspective. No, definitely not interested.
Oh, I love that. You know, when you say that things wouldn't hurt as much as they do, we're going to come back and talk about that, you know, because there's a reality to that. You know, we're moving through and our bodies are, you know, maturing and things are changing. But I love what you said from the perspective of, for me, I guess, when I look back at who I was when I was 20 and the way that I sort of dealt with beauty, the way that I made my decisions around, you know, how do I look, how do I feel, what do I do? I mean, gosh, you know, I'm just like, I feel like I'm just on a skyrocket, you know, and I've just like gone all the way forward and I'm looking back and going, I'm never going back there. Because it's just such a difficult time, really, you know, and I want to talk today with you about aging gracefully. I mean, look at you. I mean, just look at you.
Look at you.
Well, look at us, you know, and
whatever. Look at us.
But,
look at us.
So we want to share some of the things that we do with our audience and also with the younger girls, because you see, I believe that the decisions we make when we're younger literally have a very significant, let me go back.
Tongue twister.
Oh, look, I think I might be having, did Toby put some vodka in this or something?
We have our first blooper.
A very significant effect on, you know, basically, you know, let me just put, just in case, I just want to put this down, have a very significant effect. And girls, please, if you're watching, tell us where you're watching from. Give us a location, say it's Seattle, I'm watching from Melbourne, I'm wherever it is in the world, Europe, you know, if you're in Germany or, you know, wherever you are, we'd love to know. But, you know, those decisions back then have a massive effect on who you're going to be and what you're going to be looking like when you're older.
It's true.
Actually really tells you that. No one actually says you can start from 20, so that when you're 56, you know, you're just, you know, you're doing your best and you're looking and feeling your best. We don't really say that, do we? We don't, there's not much talk.
Well, right. I think that in general, I would say the answer to your question is no. However, being an esthetician as well as being a brow artist, I have the opportunity on several occasions to speak to women that are younger. In fact, just one today, and she came in for an acne treatment, and which would have incorporated a peel, but she was sunburned. And so we did something a little bit different. And so I had a talk with her and her mom, and I said, look, you just, you know, people are going to tell you this. You have to be very, very careful. But the problem is listening, right? Because I always tell my children, and they're all girls, I just thought, no, I just really always say to them, I cannot teach you wisdom. I can't teach you wisdom. It's something that you acquire learning as you go.
Well, I think it's really beautiful. And we need to tell everybody here that you have 4 girls and you have triplets.
I do.
So that makes you like some sort of a super Wonder Woman.
Not at all. It takes a village.
It does. Tell her, everybody, it does. Come on. No, you've got to take that title. We want to give you an award. You're like a superwoman, a Wonder Woman. To have triplets. Like I had one at a time, and like I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, I think that's super. I would never have had 4 at a time.
No, I had one at a time. Oh, did you say?
I know. If I had not had 3 at one time, that would have been it.
All right, I get what you're saying. I love that. But so you got 4 girls, and your eldest girl, and then you have your 3, and I have 1 girl.
Correct.
Who,
Correct.
you know, I think that's really true in a way, you know, sadly, I think it's sad in a way. And I'm not afraid of my feelings, so I'm allowed to be sad. It's okay. No one has to say, oh, poor Elle. I'm okay with my sadness. I love my feelings. I let them come in, let them go out. They come, they go. It's no big deal. That's a part of actually staying bright. You know, that's a part of your essence coming through when you let your feelings run through you without stopping them, resisting them, judging them. You know, it's not all about skincare. It's not even all about brows, believe it or not. One of the most powerful ways to actually sustain the magicalness of your inner, you know, flow and your inner light and your inner essence is to make the right choices, you know, and one of those has to be comfortable with our feelings. And, you know, I love this idea. And of course, I'm sharing it because I wrote The Power Shift, and I'm so crazy about empowering women. Probably a little bit too crazy, but anyway.
Not at all.
Crazy about empowering women.
No, you cannot.
With wisdom, it's sad that young girls, or we think that we have to suffer to be wise, to get to that place. And for me, I would love for us here to say to our younger women, even the younger mums, you know, you don't have to suffer before you start to take care of yourself and you understand your worth, who you are in this world, why you came, and how, you know, really one of the things that I love so much, and I learned it a lot later, was that I came here because to be joyful. I came here to be joyful. I didn't really come here to suffer. And I think joy can be seen through our faces. You know, it's like we think that, you know, everything starts at skin level, but it's not true.
Right. It's not true. It's even radiance. We talk about, you know, what can everyone wants to know, you know, what can I do for my skin to get radiant? And radiance, well, you can do things to make your skin a lot nicer, but radiance actually comes from within.
But, you know, I love the idea of, you know, we take care of ourselves. When you're feeling good when you're actually aligned and centered with a level of cleanness, and I'm going to call it cleanness, which means that you're not sort of leaning into the drama. You're not leaning into things that really do not serve you at all. And you're kind of following a different kind of value system within. And I'm not talking about mindset. I'm not talking about positive thinking, because if there's positive, there's also negative, right? So you're running away from the negative and you're trying to reach the positive. That's kind of like too much. That's
it's a war.
It's crazy, right? There's more to it than that. Yeah, there's more to it than that. But I think that when you're coming from that place, you want to take care of yourself. You want to have that facial. You want to go to an expert for your brows. you want to actually look after yourself. Self-care is like an expression of inner joy. It's an expression.
Yes.
It's not like you're not doing it because you're scared. Oh, if I don't do it, no one's going to love me.
No, you do it because it makes you feel fabulous.
Yeah, and it's just an expression of that goodness that's flowing through us, which I really love. I in the Power Shift, I as you've read it and you're in my group, and all of that stuff. You've been around me for a long time, and I talk about us being loved.
Love you long time.
A long time, yeah.
Love you long time.
And there's going to be a very long time, so you better get this.
Yes. I can't shake her.
That's it. But I think that I say that we're love. That's actually what we are, first and foremost. And how hard is that for us to let that in?
Hard.
It's like we're so identified with everything else, and we're constantly trying to fix everything on the outside so that we can have that, we can feel good. But we don't kind of look within much. And I want to say to all those younger girls, and even to the women that are our age, that are mature, and you are. It's
not too late.
Yeah, you're amazing. You are like, you have immeasurable power. You are extraordinary. And we're going to keep telling you that every time you come and join us at with Beautilicious and at TRUEBROW, because it's true. And we should never be afraid to speak the truth. And even if we don't kind of believe it at this stage, it doesn't mean to shy away from it. And I think that's really important, because the essence, so interesting. I was thinking about this week, and I sent you an audio which you missed and you didn't see. Anyway.
I still have to find that.
I'll send it to you again. But I sent this audio about TRUEBROW, and TRUEBROW really being about the essence of the woman. It's really about an expression of that deeper essence coming through, because your essence is like radiance. It's like when people say to me online, every now and again I get someone say, "Oh, I love your energy." What are they saying?
Right.
Why do we want to be around some people and we don't want to be around others? What? Yeah. What is
I think energy has I think a lot of people can be affected by different types of energy and really not even realize like what it is. But people that are very aware of energy and that we move as energy are aware when they're around. I mean, there's just, it's almost like there's something that wraps itself around you when you're around someone with wonderful energy.
You know what I love when people say that to me, I laugh inwardly, and I just think, well, it takes one to know when you're only seeing yourself, because really, for someone to notice that, they're actually relating to that. So they're just in, they see something they love and they think it's the other person. All I want to say to all of you, whenever you see that anywhere, that's you, and you're radiating back. So take that on, and surround yourself with the loveliness of that, whether it's with nature, with a tree, with a plant, with the ocean, whether it's with the soil under your feet. I mean, really be here and feel that the beauty, the essence of the earth is another thing too. I mean, the earth is it's a feminine planet.
It is. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
She's, we've got to wrap ourselves around that knowledge and say to the men, look, excuse me. No, I'm only kidding. That's another topic.
Another day.
So I think that, one of the things I'm getting at is that there's just so much more to it, and making the right choices in our lives is so significant to our beauty. Because when we make the right choices, even if it's hard sometimes, it's difficult, that there's something inside of us that beauty just radiates out, because we're making the right decisions.
Right.
So what happens when we're faking it all the time? What about when we're constantly afraid of aging? We're afraid of our bodies aging. We're afraid of so many things. And for me, it's kind of like, it's kind of normal and understandable. But I kind of like, how is it for you, Sabrina? You tell me. You were talking about the pains and things, and you want to. Wisdom, but you want to.
I think if you're making choices out of being afraid, you're going to make the wrong choices.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, I'm not against. I'm very much steeped in the world of beauty. I love the beauty industry. I would never say never. I wouldn't you know, with regards to all of the options and things that are out there. However, I think that you have to make the right choices for the right reasons. And if you aren't making them for the right reasons, it's just not the right choice. And you can end up really not looking very good.
Yeah, I get that. And I think one of the things that is important is the people that you go to for these things. You know, you need honest people, because, you know, we can, whenever we have something that we're afraid of, or we have like a pain point, you know, that's what they call it in marketing, basically. It's a point that you're sensitive around. You become very vulnerable around that.
You do.
Quite exploitable around that as well. And you really need to take care of yourselves. You really need to make these decisions from a different place. So, for example, you know, I've got amazing friends that, for example, have had facelifts, they had neck lifts. They look fantastic, you know, but then they stopped. And, you know, they had these things because, you know, they had some fairly traumatic time in their life, and it really had an effect on their skin, on their aging, basically. It sort of extrapolated, it sort of like accelerated it.
Accelerated.
Absolutely fine, no problem with that. You know, we're not against using alternatives, but it's the reason why we use them that's really important. Because, you know, sometimes people sort of jump in and can't stop. Young girls, you know, Botoxing and they're 24 years old.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous.
I don't get that, you know. And if any practitioner says to a 20-year-old, a 22-year-old, 24-year-old, anyone before, you know, 50, like this is I'm sorry, because you know me when it comes to these things.
I do.
I mean, you know, like, you got to get comfortable being you. You know, you have to fall in love with you, every little piece and part of you, and even those parts that might hurt sometimes as we're maturing. We have to love them first, and then look at what can we do. You know, that we're going to exercise a bit more. Am I going to find a specialist that can help me with my exercise program? You know, am I going to eat better? Am I going to think better thoughts? Am I going to let go of the thoughts that no longer serve me? I mean, there's so much we can do around beauty, Sabrina, isn't it true? And I mean,
that actually transforms you.
Absolutely. And I know for me, when I was in salon and on tools, and even now where I'm mentoring, there's something so significant for me when it comes to just being completely honest and clear. You know, we can't just focus just on the outside, because that radiance doesn't come from there. And, you know, and it's kind of like, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have facials. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't look after ourselves and have beautiful, I remember having my beautiful peels and my body scrubs and my, you know, like, I love pampering myself. But I just think it all has to be within the context of, you know, what is the reason for that? Because there's something women, a lot of, not everyone, but a lot of women around the world are missing when it comes to, you know, there's so much more to you. And that's what I love that TRUEBROW really can put out into the world as well, because, you know, we are like I want to be that shining light. You know, I want TRUEBROW to...
Well, you are.
But you're sweet. But I want TRUEBROW to stand up for the women that are going, yes, Elle, that's what I want to hear. You know, I want to know more of that. And I know that brows are so significant. Yes. Funnily enough, it wasn't lashes, it was brows for me. It wasn't skin. Well, it was for a while, but brows, because brows make such a massive difference to a woman's face. Like, they literally change the woman.
Yes. Time and time again.
Yeah. And, you know, when we're working on women's faces with their brows, you know, because we know what we're doing, because we're specialists in that, you know, we can really instantly transform someone in like an hour.
Sure.
You know, with no surgery, no injectables, but just literally just like that. That's just fantastic, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's wonderful.
So, what a feeling. I mean, we probably just do it for ourselves because we feel so good because we do. No, many it's kind of but, you know, we also, like, our girls go through so much as they're, you know, our students, as they're being educated. Like, it's a real process for them too, isn't it? Because, you know, the benchmark with TRUEBROW has been set so high because the work is so unbelievable that these girls are really special girls that step into TRUEBROW. They're really kind of extraordinary, don't you think?
I do. I think they're very extraordinary.
You
And
know,
they're actually willing to go up against themselves constantly.
Willing to go up against their fears, and you know
Everything.
what, they change, don't they? We literally watch them come in, some of them very meek and quiet and whatever, and they just turn into these just powerhouse. Yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing. So back to aging gracefully, you were speaking about pain and, you know, the body, your
Yeah, things hurt a little more.
tell us.
Well, I mean, I think for me, you know, the thing for me is that I just make sure that I am always trying to eat well. Sometimes I'm way better than others, and you have definitely been a guide for me in that, in a like a plethora of information. But for me, I just try to stay on top of really good supplements, because I notice, you know, being an esthetician, you know, there are just things that you're not going to outrun to a certain extent. I mean, your joints are going to hurt a little more, and however, it can be way better if you're focusing on things to take care of yourself than it would be if you weren't.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, nobody gets out of here alive.
Yeah, that's actually true. Oh, I like that. That's great, isn't it? It's
I mean, that's just the way that it is. That's it.
That's exactly right, isn't it? Oh, I love that. So one of the things that I'll talk about, if you don't mind, that I take regularly and I love, and in my smoothie, there's collagen. Right now, I know if everyone that's a vegan out there or someone that's vegetarian, forgive me. There, you know, I do have collagen. I don't eat beef. I do eat lamb sometimes, and I do eat some, not chicken so much, but I eat very intuitively, and I really move with my intuition when it comes to food, plus all of the research that I know and share in Power Shift, which is that other group. But I think one of the key things is that, you know, I do have my collagen, and you can see this is green, right? Well, it's got avocado in it. And I'll put a whole avocado in my smoothie in the morning, and I'll put hemp oil in, and I'll put MTC or MCT oil, sorry.
I get that completely mixed up.
Yeah, me too. Like I haven't looked at the bottle for such a long time. But everyone knows what that is. And if you don't know, check it out. We'll put it down the bottom. I also put in broccoli sprout powder, which is like really, really important. So I put I think it's broccoli powder, broccoli sprouts. I think it's broccoli sprouts. And just a lot, I don't put milk or put, you know, filtered water. See, that's another thing, just even water, right? A lot of people drink the water out of the tap and think that that's fine. So for me, I just say, you know, if you're drinking water out of the tap, like, you're the filter. So if you want to have beautiful skin, if you want to radiate and to feel good about yourself, don't let your liver and your kidneys be the filter for what's coming out of the tap. You know, you don't have to be so trusting, because, you know, they have to put stuff in there, they tell us. Some places have got fluoride, some have got chlorine, you know, that they put in it, and all kinds of things. So I think that get a fantastic water filter. That's one thing that I would definitely be telling anyone that's thinking about, you know, aging gracefully. Like, if you can start that right as early as you can, girls, if you can be doing that in your 20s, if you can be doing that, oh, wow, even earlier, you know, so if parents with little children, don't give them water out of the tap, right? Get a filter. There's some fantastic filters out there. I know the Wellness filter is a fabulous one. A lot of people use the Johann Grander water system. I mean, there's just amazing filters. Do your research and get something, get pure water into your body, and lots of it every day. What would you suggest? What do you suggest to your clients, Sabrina, when it comes to water and drinking enough? What do you suggest? How much?
Oh, well, I mean, I do think that it's difficult with regards to, you know, there's that standard of 8 glasses a day. I think everyone is different. I think that you really have to figure out what is best for you. I know that I actually function better on more water, although when I'm working, I'm not as good about it because I'm stuck in my studio and I forget.
I remember that.
You just forget. And some people don't need quite as much. So I think it's a little bit of a journey. I have an acupuncturist here in Minneapolis that I see, and we talk about that extensively because, you know, I actually saw someone post on social media a bit back, and they were talking about the difference that a greater intake of water does for your skin and your body. And it's absolutely hands down the truth, but they were suggesting a gallon of water a day. And this was a skincare specialist. And I thought to myself, although I of course did not say anything, that in my opinion, that's not good, because a gallon of water a day is quite a lot and can actually throw off your electrolytes and your sodium. And I mean, some people could have a seizure. Do you know what I mean? You just can't, because people will really listen to you. Well, and I just think that you have to help someone they have to find what's best for them.
I love that. And I think that that's one of the things that we want to really be communicating here, is that, you know, it's so complex, you know, and as skin therapists, because that's my background too, and skin experts, one of the things that was so significant for me is researching, a lot of research. And I didn't do my research from skincare companies, like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not my style. So we went outside of that sort of ecosystem, and we really connected with some pretty amazing people around the world. I'm hoping to interview Dr. Ron Rosedale, actually. I connected with him. He's currently in India and in lockdown, but hopefully we're going to get an interview with him, which would be fantastic, and he can talk.
That would be awesome.
About food and but what's really, really important is that you work intuitively with your body. When you wake up, your body hasn't had water for 8 hours. You may not have had water for longer. So, you know, like Toby is like, Toby, obviously, for those of you that don't know, is my beautiful husband. Like, he'll put 2 massive glasses of water next to his bed, and he finishes those before he gets up. Like, they're just gone. They're done.
After he's awake, or during the night?
Sorry, no,
when he wakes up
in the morning. Sorry. And thank God we've got you here so you can support me.
Going to the bathroom.
Really? What did Elle say? What does she mean? What is she talking about? So, no, as soon as he gets up, and in the middle of the night if he needs to, but he just heaps of water, and throughout the day. Now, headaches, drink water. It can be like, I remember my mum having so many headaches, dehydration. She hardly ever drank water.
My mom as well.
She'd just drink tea, and like all day long she'd drink tea and
coffee.
She got into that later, but you know what? I don't even ever remember my mum having a glass of water. You know, it wasn't a known kind of thing that
you was not
do that. So I think that, you know, for your skin to stay beautiful and hydrated, I'm going to tell you a funny story, girls. Are you going to laugh? I mean, this was crazy for me. I remember many, many years ago when I did a stint in a department store when I was researching my skincare line. Oops. I shouldn't have said that, but that's why I was doing it. I was there for like 6 weeks, drove me crazy. I was like, I don't know how I even did it, but I knew I needed to do it. I remember one woman, I said to her, you know, your skin looks quite dehydrated. And I was working for one of the larger skincare companies, and you know, they had things like thigh creams that you rub on your thighs to get rid of cellulite. I mean, some of the stuff used to blow my mind. I used to think to myself, I can't do it. I'd say to Toby, oh, Toby, I just can't do it. I can't go back in there, you know. And but I would go in, and she said to me, I said, your skin looks a little bit dehydrated. And I said to her, you know, how much water are you drinking? She says, oh, I hate water. I don't want to drink water. She said, give me a cream that's going to hydrate my skin. I swear to you, when she said that to me, my brain, it must have flipped in my skull or something, you know, like I just, you know, I think that, okay, I said to her, okay, let me go get you one, you know, because I'm not there to go and run. But, you know, the reality of it is, for those of you that truly, you can't, it's not an outside in job. You have to drink filtered, clean, pure water. And as Sabrina said, find what works for you. If you get headaches, if you get migraines, drink more water, like throughout that headache, you know, don't go have a coffee or something, or just drink heaps of water at that time and see if that will support you, and then do the next. But water is just so important. I find sometimes that I don't drink as much as I would like. And I know it's really difficult if I have a really busy day, but, you know, do whatever you can. I mean, there's so many things that you can do now that you can, for example, you can buy bottles and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah, they make it a lot of fun.
Yeah, it can.
Right.
But don't drink out of plastic either. You know, like they've found so much plastic leaches into the actual
water itself
water.
from heat.
So yeah, from the heat. So don't leave a bottle. I don't know about you. I mean, I've actually had a plastic bottle. I've literally experienced this in the car, and we live in a very warm climate, obviously, and I've gone back and I've pulled it out and I've smelt it and it just smells like plastic. It's terrible. So I throw it out. But now we have a glass one we take around with us. Get a glass container if you're going out with the kids or whatever. And, you know, just prepare and teach your children at a very young age that water is, you know, we'll say queen because we're all women here, is not king, it's queen. So, you know, water is really important. So make that a part of their lives right in the beginning. They don't need, you know, look into juices and there's so much sugar and all that stuff. So just get water down pat first. And then, you know, it's just going to be so amazing for you. I wish I had drank more water when I was younger. I really, really do, because it's so important to so many functions in your body. The other thing I want to talk about is collagen. And, you know, that's another big one, right? Silica is another really big one. I love to take some silica. But, you know, it's the quality of your supplements that matters.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, Sabrina, but I'm crazy about looking at ingredients, like not obsessively crazy, but just insightfully, I think. You know, I just will never buy something without looking at the ingredients first. And the reason that I do that is because I've been caught out so many times and I think, oh, wow, you know, what am I doing? I just gave, you know, like $50 for this thing and it's not so great. So do you do that? Is that a big part of the
I do. And I do it more, you know, I've spent a lot of time with you and Toby, and I was just going to say, I've definitely been through Whole Foods with you and Toby.
Oh yeah, how much fun. I love Whole Foods. It's my favorite store.
We are looking at all of the ingredients.
Whole Foods is my favorite store. I actually have photos of Whole Foods with my hands full of stuff that I just like bought and brought back to Australia. I just absolutely love it. And but I think ingredients are really important. Don't even think just because something says it's organic, and especially in America, don't think, I have to say that, don't think that it doesn't have something non-organic in it, even here in Australia.
That's correct.
So it's really important to look at those things and be aware, be aware of what you're putting into your body. I just think that's so important. What about things that, like with collagen, you know, I think that when we interviewed Dr. Ron Rosedale many, many years ago, we still have that interview actually, I asked him the question about collagen. Now, we might have get some flack about this, but I'm really sorry. I'm just going to share it anyway, because, you know, you can believe it or not. It's really your call. But one of my questions was, can collagen go from outside into the skin and have a positive effect on the skin? And he told me back then that that's not possible.
Not other than hydrating.
Yeah, there's no science that proves that. Now, what collagen does when you put a mask on or you're putting anything under the eyes, it softens the skin. And most of the time it's because it's got softening things like hyaluronic acid in it or dimethicone and things like that. And I don't know where the collagen comes from and how that works. So you have to put collagen into your body in some other way. It's a really important thing to do. You don't want to overdo it, but you want to make sure that you're doing that. And I do that, like I put like 2 big scoops in my, as I was saying before, in my smoothie. And I really, really love it. Lots of good oils as well. Really important. Let me see, should I throw, the silica is another one, isn't it? Silica being a supplement. Really look for the pure, the one you got to put in the fridge, the one that doesn't last for like 2 weeks. You know, once it's opened, you have to have it within 6 weeks.
Yes.
What does silica help with? Helps with
hair growth.
Yeah. Fingernails. Yeah, all those things, and of course skin on some level. So, you know, all of these things are really important. So hopefully you're writing these things down when you go back and you have a look. So we've got silica, we've got collagen. If you're vegan or vegetarian and you're upset with us right now, I apologize.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. We are sorry. We are really, really sorry. But what we are suggesting is that you need to then find your what you would have instead of that. Broccoli sprouts are the absolute, one of the highest nutritional foods on the planet. If you can sprout broccoli sprouts, organic ones, do it every single day. Put them on everything. And if you can't sprout them, buy them in a really good powder. What are you going to buy just before you give the money over to the checkout lady? Check the ingredients. If there's ingredients in there that you don't understand, it's funky names, weird things.
Don't buy it.
Are you going to put it in your beautiful form, like Sabrina used the word vessel? Pour it in there and eat it. Don't do it.
Right. Don't do it.
Don't do it. So get the purest. And even if you have to pay a little bit more, and you say, but I can't afford to pay more. Come on, have less. It'll last longer. Have what's better. It's like, I can only afford a McDonald's hamburger. Well, you know what? You can go and get some broccoli, get one and have a little less, and you can eat really good food, and do whatever you can. And I'm not saying that everyone in the world can do that, but I'm speaking to those of you that can, and those of you that can't. Sure. Tell us, we'll give you a different suggestion. But, like at the end of the day, these things are key. Cod liver oil is another one.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, because I know you have
Carlson's.
that, and I have that
love
too.
Carlson's cod liver oil.
Now, Carlson's is really good, and Ron
but
actually
you have another one.
recommends it. And also the Nordic Naturals is really, really
Nordic
good
Naturals.
because it's really important. People go and they want to do what's good for them. I just love human beings so much. They want to do what's best for them. And so they hear that cod liver oil is really important, and they go down to the discount chemist.
The Walmart.
Yeah. And they're selling them like for $20, hundreds and hundreds of capsules with oxidized, cod liver oil. So toxic for your body.
Yes.
Please don't do that. So again, it may be a little bit more expensive. Have half a teaspoon a day instead of a full teaspoon, but still please make sure that you're having that. Now, it's a controversial issue, cod liver oil, because some people are saying, like Dr. Jack Cruz says, don't have it, you shouldn't have it. But for me, my body loves it. I feel that when I take it, my nervous system just immediately just goes into a sense of calm. If we could get it into children, it would be awesome, but it doesn't taste so good. So I'll tell you how I take it. Sabrina, I don't know, how do you take it actually? I
just pour it in water.
Oh yeah, good. That's what I do.
And I drink it down.
Yeah. And I think if it's really smelly, if it's very fishy, it just means actually, in fact, that it's not fresh enough. So always look at the expiry and try and get yourself one where the expiry date is like really far ahead, because the minute you open your cod liver oil, air gets in.
You have to just keep going.
Yeah, the air gets in and it starts to oxidize pretty much straight away, even if it's in the fridge. So be really careful with that. So cod liver oil is a good one. And, like all these oils, like olive oil, stay away from vegetable oil. Vegetable oil isn't good for you. And I never have vegetable oil. Even if I go out, I sometimes even ask if I go to an Indian restaurant. I'm shocking. But you know what? It's my body. I'm the one that's responsible for taking care of it. So and I'll say, what oil do you use? If they use vegetable oil, I normally don't go. I'll go to somewhere where they use ghee, which is what is really, the traditional kind of, cooking.
Butter.
Yeah, it's clarified butter, which the Indian people use and love. And I love ghee. It's fantastic. So things like lots of avocados, really full and rich in lots of really beautiful fats and so on and so on. One of the things I have to say that I stay right away from is, as much as I can, is sugar. And I think for aging, the whole idea of glycation, and I hope I said that right. Because,
you did.
Yeah. It's such a big thing. And the studies show that it's just so glycation is so pro-aging, and it comes from starchy carbohydrates and from sugars. So, if you're a sugarholic, that can happen. It really can. I had clients where I would put them, when we were doing skin in salon, and I don't know about you, but Sabrina, you can share with us, but I used to put them on a complete plan and reduce their sugar and their skin, just like that. It's just like amazing. Does that happen for you? Because you're right in
It has. It does happen, and it's a tough thing to give up. I think it's like being an alcoholic. You really have to, every day's a fight.
Yeah, because it really is a chemical thing in the brain,
It
because
is.
and it, you
Mhm.
know, it's like you know, really wanting pasta, really wanting those starchy carbohydrates.
Mhm.
It's just another thing. It's a choice, isn't it? You
It
want your
is.
skin to be free of breakouts and all the rest of it. You know, one of the
Mhm.
things that I found is with people, the first thing that I would do with anybody whatsoever that had issues with breakouts and acne is put them on just minimizing their sugar. They don't have to cut it
Mhm.
out straight away. I mean, you know, we're not
Sure.
saying, gosh, you've got to be perfect. You know, you're going to love your sugar. You're going to want to have a little bit more. Hey there. I think that's Petra. Hey, Petra, how you doing, darling? Hey, Mandy. So, you know, we're not saying that you have to cut out everything, but these are the key things. These are
They are.
key things that are just absolutely vital for beautiful skin. So cut it back just a little bit and,
Mhm.
and watch your skin change. So what have we covered? I don't know how we got onto skin, but we did kind of. We sort of went
Well,
all over the place today.
yeah, of course, aging gracefully. We talked all about aging gracefully
We did, didn't we?
from
And
the inside out, not from the outside in.
from the inside out. And then we're going to talk about from the outside in, because that's actually really important too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that another time. And
Yeah, that would be fun.
yeah, because, you know, there are so many things, like you were talking about sun before. Now,
Yes,
I recommend everyone goes and checks out Jack Cruz, Dr.
I
Jack
know.
Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a sun lover. Like, he's so big into the sun, and he's a neurosurgeon. He's just done so much research, and he's not telling us get sunburnt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sunburn, it ain't good, right? We're not
Right.
saying go out and burn your face, be irresponsible. But the sun, if you listen to some of the stuff he says, he talks a lot about menopause too, which he's
Mm-hmm.
just saved me, honestly, with a lot of the things that he spoke about when I, you know, went through that stage, because I'm 56 and I just did last
Mm-hmm.
year. Absolutely saved me with, you know, his information. So getting that sun, have sun, don't be afraid of the sun. The sun is beautiful. You know, we're like light beings, and we
Yes.
really want to just let the sun come in, and don't hide. If you can just, for us, like, we can lie on our balcony and like be nudists on our balcony, basically. Really, I shouldn't say that, because people will go
That's awesome.
watching us around the so oops.
Sounds like fun.
But we could if we wanted to, because we get direct sunlight, and try and
Mm-hmm.
look for the sun, like look for it, and don't wear sunglasses on all the time when you're outside. Let the sun come into your eyes a little bit, but don't listen to me. I'm not the expert in this area. You know, go and research Dr. Jack Cruz and listen to some of his stuff. It is absolutely amazing, especially if you're not sleeping really well. Sleep is another thing for aging, isn't it, Grace?
Huge.
It's actually so.
I just want to say, you mentioned Dr. Jack Cruz. It's spelled Kruse, not Cruise. So just in case you go and start looking for him.
Yes, if they start,
you're going to want to spell his name properly.
And it's like, oh, they get confused, and then they get brought into Scientology or something, or they
not Tom Cruise, Jack Cruz with a K.
So they go from Tom Cruise. Don't do that. Don't do that. Dr. Jack Cruz, yeah, Kruse, and he comes across YouTube. Go and find him on YouTube. He's great, but he does come across really strong. Some people can say he's a bit arrogant. I love him. I think, you know, when you're talking about such significant alternatives that are just natural and normal, like probably the tribes knew them, right? They probably they probably knew all this stuff, but it's just so amazing and so deeply researched. So, you know, it's not about believing me or Sabrina. I mean, it's going out there and being an absolute, like being interested in aging gracefully, being interested about what can I do now in my 20s so that as I'm, you know, maturing, I'm feeling fantastic. Exercise is another one, you know, that's really key, isn't it?
Very, very key. It's important to me. I love getting my exercise on.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I love that. That sounds so good. I think that
I love that feeling.
One of the things that we might find as we get older too is that exercise can become a little challenging because, you know, we go and we exercise like we did in our 30s, and all of a sudden we might have an injury, or our body sort of kind of goes, oh, you've got to slow down. That I found really challenging because I love exercise and I was crazy gym junkie in my 30s. But what I did then really has so supported me even now. So girls, get in there and do something that you love. Don't over exercise. This is another really key point that is important, because it does release a lot of cortisol and stuff like that if you over exercise. So, you know, everything in moderation. Just make sure you're moving your body.
That's the key.
Yeah, and just taking care of yourself. But aging gracefully is sleep. The key to sleep, the reason I brought the sun, that's triggered the sun with Dr. Jack Cruz, is because, you know, sleep is directly related to your melatonin and the sunrise, and the sun has got stuff to do with that. So go and read his stuff. It's fantastic. We might have something up here in this thread, but so important. Sleep is important, and sleep is governed also by how you live your day. You know, that's another thing too, isn't it? So if you're just frantic and absolutely out of your mind, sleep is going to be harder.
It will be.
Yeah, because, you know, you're just traveling down that kind of roller coaster. You're on a roller coaster ride. So, you know, we can talk about that another time, because sleep's an important thing for aging gracefully. You need to have it. But, you know, you can also learn to have no sleep and gently relax and just meditate while you're lying in bed. And as long as you're not getting frantic, as long as you're not resisting, just, you know, there is that side of things too, isn't there? It's just staying quiet and giving yourself the quiet time. We could talk all day. This is such a big topic.
It's a huge topic.
Well, we're thinking that we were going to talk about it in, like, you know, an hour or something like that.
That's okay. We can always come back to it.
I think we need to just like slice it up a little bit and talk about it for everyone in different ways. I'm really excited about doing some product reviews. I know that we might differ a little bit in the things that we review. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to review your things, and you'll give me the opportunity to review mine. Having stepped out of the skin care sort of industry in a way, I've gone very, very natural with the things that I choose to use when it comes to skincare, and I love the exploration of it. And I also love checking out things that have really just fabulous ingredients. But, you know, you can give us the other side of it, because, you know, you move in different circles when it comes to skincare, right?
I do. I do.
And what company are you using right now? What's the skincare that you've got in salons?
I work a lot with V and Phytomere. They're out of France. And then I also work with Face Reality, which is out of California, for acne.
Oh, wow. Love it. Love it. So we're going to talk more about that stuff. That's fantastic. So is there anything else that we want to share with our beautiful audience? I think we've wrapped it up pretty well.
I think we have. And I think that, you know, if we've covered we've covered a lot of topics, and I think that it would be great if there's anything that really hit and landed for someone that they would like for us to expand on, they could just post below, and then we would know what to do next time.
That sounds great. And I think one of the things that I'd like to talk about next week, it's a topic that's really close to my heart, is how does the woman consumer, how do young women, whatever, it doesn't matter, of all ages, how do you choose, how do you know who to choose as your beauty expert? You know, what do you look for? What are the signs? How do you protect yourself? How do you make sure that you're choosing the right person? And it's not just about having hundreds of certificates on a wall. I just want to be clear about that. And this is not just to do with brows. This has got to do with absolutely any service in the beauty industry, even massage, anything like that. What's your checklist? We're going to go through the checklist. What is your checklist when you're picking your expert, and how to pick the people that are going to take care of you and they're going to value you, and from a, you know, not just short term, but long term are going to give you make the decisions that are going to give you long-term results. Correct?
That sounds great.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And you and I can have a little chin wag about that between.
That would be fun.
And and really support everyone next week when when we're going over this topic. Thank you everyone so much for being with us. We hope that you've taken out a few gems out of today, a few golden nuggets. You've given me an opportunity to be with my gorgeous, gorgeous soul sister, Sabrina Alice. I always love that. And we will be back, Sabrina. Thank you so much. We'll
Thank you.
next
Thank
week
you, Elle.
with more. Take care, everyone.